This is just a bit here to show the running gear, because I'd had a comment saying that my little Myford sounded like a bag of beans, I think the words were. Not done it yet, I'll know who I mean. So that's how noisy it is. The noise that was on the video that I was doing was because I had the gearbox running. Anybody who's got a Myford will know that the quick change gearbox is actually open at the front, so you can hear all the gears going round. And a lot of it also, I had my back gear in, which is really noisy, the brass back gear. Maybe it shouldn't be, but it is. But the actual machine isn't a noisy machine. So that was probably just first thing to say. So secondly, things I've got to do. This is going to be the end of the video, which you'll see, because I've had a lot of comments and a lot of critical remarks as to what I've done and that I shouldn't do it. So number one, I've got a watch on. Technically, I suppose in engineering, if you're in an apprenticeship, the first thing you do, take your watch off, put it in your pocket. Okay, we take it off. Second thing, baggy sleeves, get stuck in machine, drag your arm off. Even a little machine like this probably would. So yeah, that point taken. Although when I did this video, I didn't have this raggy jumper on. I had a tight sleeve jacket on with a elasticated sleeves. But we wind our things up, so that's a number two that I did wrong. Another thing that I did wrong, which was stupid, which was to use the die holder, and I rested it against here, which I always rest it against there anyway, but it was wrong because obviously it was jumping backwards and forwards and resting on there. Unfortunately, I can't do anything else than that, other than make some sort of wooden base that would sit on there, so that could sit on there, or not do that at all. So, some time ago, sorry I'm jumping backward and forward, some time ago I actually made this. I've got a box full of die holders that go in the tailstock. But this one I made because these dies are metric and they wouldn't fit in the other one. A comment rightly said by somebody. So I made this one. This is actually 3 in 1. It's got the large one for my big dies, my Whitworth dies. It's got this one that holds these inch or whatever they are, 25 point something dies. And if I take that out, I can put that one in, and that takes a little mini dies. Which are all the 3 different size dies that I particularly got myself. So this is what I should have used, and that would go into my drill chuck, brought forward. Now we're back to where we started with this handle business, because other than me holding it, which some people could say that's dangerous, I don't know. But when I made this, I made it a little spring-loaded collar on it, so when you get up to the job, you can wind it up, and it puts some pressure onto your stud. You can see that moving. Let's make sure you can see it. Did this? I haven't tightened it up, but I've only assembled it loosely. If I nip that Allen screw up, you can get the idea that that basically compresses the spring and puts some pressure on to start your thread. But as I'm saying, it's still going to rest on the bed like that. So I don't know how you'd address that. They're saying it's wrong. I mean, I could put a longer bar on and just literally hold it. I put the machine in back gear, but at least if I'd have done it that way, I wouldn't have had the side loads on that die that I have, or had, and now I haven't with that, obviously. That's simple. So that was another thing, stupid thing that I did wrong, and I shouldn't have done, because it wasn't as if I didn't have the gear to do it. I did have the gear, I just couldn't be bothered. I just got a piece of alley out and just away I went. And yeah, wrong of me. So apologies. The next thing was this. So I was polishing this, and I was polishing the end of it up, and I think before I threaded it, and I had a cloth. I put some Sol to Sol, and I do this, and I always do this because I make a lot of rings, and I always put my finger over it like that, pull the rest of the cloth away, and then I go, and I start doing this with this going round. People had rightly said if the knurl had grabbed it, you could have possibly got this happening and ended up with a proper mess and possibly digit damage or worse. So yeah, it is bad practice, so don't do that, whatever you do. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it, because when I'm polishing my rings that are not knurled, they're just smooth, I've got to get a good cloth around it. Some people have said use a tissue, soft tissue, but as anybody who does any polishing will know, a soft tissue is slightly abrasive, not like a soft cloth, especially if you start talking about stockinette, which is super soft and great for polishing, which I use all the time. But don't do it. Don't do this. That's all it was. Don't do that. So if I do, I do, but you shouldn't, unless you feel confident in what you're doing. Okay, I think that might be it. I don't know if there were any other gripes. There was my noisy lathe, bag of beans, which it's 40 odd years old, I suppose it can be. Yeah, I made this out of one piece of aluminium, and that'd be fine with that aluminium thread if you were screwing it into a piece of Delrin or something like that. But for any strong grip, you'd probably break it off. And people had said, you know, you'd been better off if you'd have just made that off. Use this for some more other jobs. Drilled it, tapped it, and put a piece of stud in, metal stud, either steel or stainless even, and Loctite it in, which would be a lot better, especially if you don't drill right through, if you just bottom out. But yeah, so that would also be probably better to do. But that wasn't the aim when I was making this. I just grabbed a piece of stock. I think this cost me £1. I paid £1 each for these pieces, and I won't show you them again because I already have done. So there were no loss in money. It was just something to do on a bank holiday. Monday was it? I started it. Anyway, I think I've griped on enough. I do apologise to anybody that's watched this video and that might re-see it, especially at the Lads on Model Engineering Forum, because on Model Engineering Forum there's a lot of guys. There's probably thousands of members. I'm one of them. But some of the guys, you know, they've been teachers, and they've been lecturers, they've been engineers, they've not been dabblers like myself that have messed about in anything, cars, motorbikes, you name it, I've messed with it, buildings, all sorts, but nothing in particular. And they spent their lifetime doing engineering work. So if they see anything that's not quite right, they pull you straight away. And I'm not saying they shouldn't, because to be critical is good, isn't it? It lets you know what you're doing wrong. And it made it out that I was showing people that were green, if you like, how to do engineering work. That really wasn't my aim. My aim was just to show making something on a bank holiday when it was raining. Anyway, I do apologise. So for anybody that I upset, I profusely apologise to that, and I shall try to get it better next time. Thank you. Another thing that I'll edit in is when I was doing the ball turning, I had my cross slide right across, which I have to do to get my centre line for when I'm cutting. And I moved my swarf guard, which is a filthy mucky old piece of hardboard. I moved it like that so that I could get my cross slide to go right across. Right, I needed to get my cross slide right across to get my centre line for my ball turning. So I moved that. Well, I've had a telling off for that as well, because it's practice of leaving loose items that could have fallen across there and maybe caused a small nuclear explosion. I don't know, but yeah. So best thing to do is just take that out completely when I'm doing that. It's just a guard really to stop crap getting on my motor. That's all it's for, just a little swath guard. Okay, and I'm done. Thank you.